I was playing around with OpenAI's DALL-E 2 and I came across some interesting results that a 3D artist might be interested in. So I want to share them with you today. In case you don't know what DALL-E 2 is, it's a generative AI that was trained to generate images from a text description. It takes input in plain English and generates images matching that description. So instead of me talking, let me just show you. This is the DALL-E interface. It's very simple. You just enter your text prompt here and then hit generate. It has other features like inpainting and variations. We'll get to that later. So if I type in a wireless mouse sits on a table and hit generate, it takes a couple of seconds and it generates images matching that description. And the results are really good, like some of them even look like real photographs. So what do I mean by 3D capabilities of DALL-E 2? I am not referring to its ability to generate realistic looking images that look like photographs or CG renders. It can do that really well and the results are absolutely stunning. I'm also not implying that DALL-E can generate 3D models with actual geometry and textures. I'm sure someone is working on that and maybe we'll get to try it someday, but the output of DALL-E is absolutely a 2D image. Today we're going to explore things that a 3D artist might be interested in, and we're going to see if DALL-E understands a scene in a way that allows us to manipulate the scene beyond its ability to generate images. So DALL-E has this inpainting feature which allows you to mask over a portion of the image and give instruction to modify that portion. So I thought, okay, if this feature takes the mask object and the whole scene into context and allows us to manipulate this scene, maybe I can do stuff like rotate or move the objects around or change the lighting of the scene in some way. And turns out I was wrong. The inpainting only works for changing small things like adding a few details or changing the background and stuff like that. It isn't actually capable of actively manipulating things like you would do on a 3D program. Maybe it's a DALL-E limitation, maybe a better alternative is on the way. The next thing I tried that sort of worked is generating multiple views of the same object. So if you add terms like Multiview Render or 3D to your prompt, it sort of generates multiple views of an object. Here I tried a multi-view render of a 3D model of a horse and it kind of worked. The object is not consistent between the multiple views like you would get on a 3D program, but it does get the idea. You can also try generating split views by adding terms like split view to your prompt, but that also suffers from the problem of consistency. The next thing you can try is adding terms like stereo 3D and a glyph 3D, and it gives you this red cyan, red blue image. I don't think you can extract geometry from these. I think you'd need more views, but still it's 3D, sort of. Now someone might be complaining that, well, this isn't a fair test. This AI is clearly trained to generate images, which it does really well. And you'd be right, this isn't a fair test, but I wanted to see if this AI generalizes beyond images. Now don't get me wrong, if the 2D image is your final product, then this is absolutely fantastic. You're done in a few steps. You just have to know the correct prompt and a bit of inpainting to fix some things and your work is done. And you can also use this for concepting, for generating ideas that you can later translate to actual 3D. So this is going to be a great tool in an artist toolbox, regardless of what you're working on or what your medium is. There are already paid alternatives you can try like Midjourney, which you can access through Discord, and also some great open source alternatives like Diffusion, which you can run for free on a Colab notebook. I'll put links down below if you want to check them out. So getting back to the topic, we've seen things that kind of work and some things that don't work. One thing that does work and shows that DALL-E does have some understanding of 3D is you can paint over an area and say add a cube matching the perspective and align with the object. Another fun thing you can try is you can paint over an area and say a chrome ball, and it adds a shiny ball that looks like it does belong to the scene. And this shows that DALL-E does have some understanding of how light behaves. Now, the surprising thing that really worked, which I did not expect to work, is if you add the term wireframe shaded to your prompt, it generates the 3D wireframe of the object. In this case, I said a wireless mouse 3D wireframe shaded. And the wireframes are pretty good. They're not perfect. It looks like just noise at the smaller scale, but it produces a decent result at the big scale. And it also doesn't look like some shading effect. It looks like DALL-E does have some understanding of the object's geometry and its topology. Another handy feature of DALL-E is variations. You can take a DALL-E generation, or you can upload your own image and click on variations, and it will generate more images that sort of capture the essence of the image. So here I uploaded one of Blender's splash screen artwork, and if you look at the results, it understands that it is an image of a fox, and it sort of looks like it is flaming, and the color palette is the same, and the image has the same mood. The results look less detailed than the original image, but that's just a DALL-E limitation. DALL-E has to adhere to a resolution limit, and that means loss of some details. If you want to upscale the image using AI, I'll put links to some free upscalers you can try online, but I don't know how you would go about adding more detail. So the next thing a 3D artist might be interested in is generating textures. DALL-E can generate color textures and seamless textures, although I was unable to make it generate normal maps. Here the prompt was texture map of mossy ground with pebbles, seamless. I downloaded some of them and I applied them to a plane in Blender. And it does tile. If you zoom out, it looks okay, but if you zoom in, you can see some seams. And this is the DALL-E signature. Every DALL-E generation has this to indicate that an AI created this. So as you can see, getting DALL-E to do something particular requires that you know the correct term for it. So if you've got access to DALL-E 2 and know about any cool tricks, please share them in the comments below. And also, if there's anything you'd like me to try, write them down below. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe. I'll make sure to cover any other awesome tools like this. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.